This first general session of the 77th Annual Convention of the Louisiana Municipal Association will now come to order. The Louisiana Municipal Association, it's our lobbying branch. It's also where our municipalities come to get services. The LMA has a whole bunch of programs that they offer to our members, from the LMA program to our insurance premium tax program to just general services that each municipality can use.
The mission of the Louisiana Municipal Association is threefold. Number one, we want to educate through conferences and conventions like we're doing here in Baton Rouge this year. We also provide legislative lobbying. Our advocacy efforts during the legislature was outstanding this past legislative session. And finally, it's member services. What type of services can we give municipalities to make their job easier, give services more efficient, and basically do a better job for all of the constituents that our members represent? We're very excited at the LMA that we can provide this to our members. There's value in membership. This year we have instituted the Delinquent Property Tax Sale Program. The Louisiana law is very, very complex when it comes to for those people who do not pay their taxes. Some merely forget. We'll notify them. Some walk away from properties, and therefore there's blight. And that's what brings a community and neighborhood down. What we will do is that we will follow the state law as prescribed. Our contractor will begin the process and notify the property owners, send the necessary notices, do the necessary advertising, have a broader reach of advertising so that the tax sale can bring that much needed revenue to municipalities. For those properties that don't sell at a tax sale, it'll be adjudicated to that community, to that municipality. And they, in a 3-year period, allowed for redemption, so the property and the property rights are still protected. But if there is no action, then the community will enjoy the benefits of ownership of that property and to return it back into commerce. We're looking to rebuild neighborhoods in our Louisiana communities. The LMA is there to help our members and help the constituents that they serve.
The new program that the LMA is offering is a turnkey solution for tax sales and adjudicated property sales to municipal governments. That's going to be handled through our company. Our company has handled more than 150 tax sales, processing over 500,000 pieces of property in Louisiana's tax sale system, which makes our company the most experienced in this field. The LMA has seen fit to assist municipal governments in this area, which is a source of much grief for many a municipal employee attempting to adhere to the legal standards that are set out before you bring a property to tax sale. We'll take all that burden off of them at no cost.
We're protecting property rights, and we're also fighting blight and fighting crime, because that's what the problem is in most of our rundown neighborhoods. You know, the census showed that there was a flight from municipalities to rural areas outside city limits. We want to stem that flow and reverse that trend. We want to rebuild communities through residential developments and also help the business community. The LMA is going to create greater ties with the business community so that they understand that with the nonprofit status of the LMA, they are neighborhood organizations, business, and government. Community is a three-legged stool that will benefit everyone in the long run.
I want to talk a little bit about our success this past year. We had a legislative session unparalleled to any legislative session that we had in the past. We batted 1,000. We had a 62-bill package. 62 bills. Some of those we opposed. Some of those we were favored. Every bill we opposed, we defeated. Every bill we wanted passed, passed. And that was as a result of the LMA's involvement. We bombarded the mayors and various people with emails talking about the status. We had something interesting called the One Call Committee. And that One Call Committee worked. If you have a relationship with your legislator, and remember, they are partners in our government. They represent the same constituents you represent, just on a different level. They want to hear from you. And I had one mission, and that mission was to make sure that no legislator said, well, I don't know, I didn't hear from my mayor. We didn't hear it one time this session. And let me tell you about the creme de la creme piece of legislation that we got passed. It was called House Bill 488. a constitutional amendment that the LMA originated. We asked our former member, our former past president, former mayor, and present State Representative Johnny Berthelot from Gonzales to do us a favor and sponsor a piece of legislation that was in response to a very, very adverse Supreme Court ruling. And it is very simple. This constitutional amendment is now, instead of House Bill 488, it was signed to be Act 871, and now it's the constitutional amendment number 3 on the ballot, and it's going to be on the ballot on November the 4th. I will tell you, our work begins now. I want to credit John Gallagher, our Assistant Director for Governmental Affairs, in leading the lobbying effort that was successful in our legislative package and the passage of this constitutional amendment. I will tell you that we did what we had to. We got you involved, you spoke to the legislators, the House and the Senate agreed, and they passed this constitutional amendment, and that was because of you. We want to say thank you, but I know what you're saying. What in the world is he talking about? Constitutional Amendment number 3? Well, that's what we're here to do today. On the ballot itself, you're going to read, there's 14 constitutional amendments, so we have got to differentiate ourselves from others. On the ballot, it reads this: do you support an amendment allowing an authorized agent of a tax collector to assist in the tax sale process, including the sale of property for delinquent taxes, that the fee charged by the authorized agent be included within the cost that collectors can recover in the tax sale? Wow, that's some wording, but it is probably simpler than some of those other constitutional amendments you've read in the past. But what does it do? It's very simple. It allows local government to appoint a third-party contractor to conduct delinquent tax sales for a fee, but it's limited by state law. The process was not changed. You have always had the ability to go to a tax sale. Many of you have, but what you may not know is that you may not have done it correctly. That is scary. In the city of Gretna, for 20 years, we were fighting the issues of abandoned homes and blight, only to find out that our process was wrong and we got sued and we lost. We ended up getting a contractor, and guess what? His only job was to do it and do it right. And he did an outstanding job. In fact, he represents 43 jurisdictions throughout the state of Louisiana. So what we have here is a constitutional amendment that says a tax collector can appoint a third party. Well, what does that really mean? What it really means is that we are going to protect property rights of individuals in the state of Louisiana. And I'll give you a good example. You have grandma who died, and the children now are responsible for the estate. And they've appointed a single person to say, well, you handle the affairs. So the tax bill goes to that person. Well, the person may not pay it. She may have lost the bill in the mail. The guy's dog may have eaten the tax bill. You don't know what happened, but the taxes weren't paid. So the brothers and sisters may say, oh, yeah, well, she takes care of it. He takes care of it. The problem is the taxes weren't paid. We're going to notify them. We're going to notify them to say you need to pay your taxes, so it ensures property rights so it doesn't get in legal quagmires. What else does it do? Each year you pass a budget. The budget is 100% of the pie of ad valorem property taxes. But if not everyone pays, you don't get all that revenue. So it's an issue of fairness. It's a fairness for the property owner to make sure that they enjoy the responsibilities of citizenship to pay for taxes so that government can provide services. But if you don't pay, there's consequences. And those consequences is a matter of fairness, because why should some pay and others not? You at City Hall do jobs day in, day out. It's busy, it's tough, you're busy doing things. Tax sales are very, very specific, and that's why we should allow a tax collector, Doesn't mean you're going to have to, it's permissive. It allows things to happen. So it'll be a tax fairness not only for the person, but also for the municipality. Now, what will it do? Besides protecting property rights, we're going to be fighting blight and crime. Yes, we have people who pay their taxes. Yes, they have some who simply forget, but some others just walk away. And when they walk away, they leave the problem in your lap. As a community, you've got to take the leadership role and do something about that community, that property, and get it back into commerce. So we're going to fight the blight, because I guarantee if it's a blighted property, the chances are that person hasn't paid taxes. What happens when you have blighted property? You usually have a possibility of a harboring crime, because people don't want to see their property values go down either. So we are in the business of rebuilding communities. Now, I will tell you that the legislative amendment that we have adopted now comes to you. You know, 29 years ago, a young man approached the doorsteps of those people in Gretna and asked them to please vote. And one of the questions they asked me, they said, "Are you running against Mayor White?" I said, "No, he's retiring." "Who's your daddy?" I would tell him who my dad was. Then I was okay. Guess what we need from you? For Constitutional Amendment number 3, we need a grassroots effort. We need a grassroots effort from you in many ways. First, as a city, as a town, as a village, your council needs to pass a resolution that supports Amendment number 3. That's the one that we've worked on this past year. This particular resolution that you adopt will tell your public that you're in favor of it, that it's okay. It's okay because it's a matter of fairness. We want you to discuss this with your news media. We want you to seek out the newspaper editors. We want you to go to your civic organizations. We want you to talk to your business community to say that Constitutional Amendment number 3 is okay. The LMA, the organization that watches out for you, is doing their job, and now it's up to the public to give it a thumbs up. Now, I will tell you, 2 years ago, there was another constitutional amendment that we supported, although we did not originate it, but it's still a good thing because we're fighting blight. It reduces the redemptive period from 36 months after a tax sale to 18 months. Now, the reason we support that is, why should you put up with a blighted piece of property for a total of 3 years and the problem of grass cutting and keeping up with that property? So we're asking the public to support Constitutional Amendment number 10 as well. I want to thank you for getting involved. I want to thank you for passing this resolution. And come November 4th, let's claim victory together, because it's the first step in the long road of rebuilding communities in Louisiana. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a resolution to the Greater New Orleans, Inc. As we continue to forward our program this year, Louisiana led the fight on the national issue that had been escalating for years. As a state with a coastline along the Gulf of Mexico, we have seen the effects of many hurricanes throughout the years. This year, we as a state took a bold stand on the Biggerswater Flood Insurance Reform Act of 2012. This act was introduced to help solve a problem for the increasing cost of flooding properties in the nation. The act could have potentially caused negative effects with huge increases in flood insurance premiums on property owners throughout the state of Louisiana and the nation. Greater New Orleans Incorporated was one of the driving forces behind the nationwide coalition that successfully enacts Louisiana efforts to address the much-needed reforms to the Biggerswater Flood Insurance Reform Act of 2012. GNO is a regional economic development alliance serving in a 10-parish region of southeast Louisiana. Its mission is to serve as the catalyst for wealth creation for business development by marketing the region, improving regional business conditions through policy, workforce, and research initiatives. Through the leadership of GNO President Michael Heck and External Affairs Director Caitlin Burney, the Coalition for Sustainable Flood Insurance quickly grew to a membership representing over 250 government, business, and other organizations from 35 states across the country. Through the tireless efforts and leadership of those individuals, the Homeowner Flood Insurance Affordability Act addressed many issues of concern, and it was introduced and placed on a fast track for consideration by the United States Congress. The Homeowner Flood Insurance Affordability Act was signed into law on March 21st. We are grateful to Michael Heck, Caitlin Burney, and the entire staff of Greater New Orleans Incorporated and the Coalition for Sustainable Flood Insurance for their leadership and tireless efforts on behalf of not only the state of Louisiana, but the entire United States to secure necessary change to the Biggerswater Act of 2012 and ensure we will have access to affordable flood insurance for the years to come. Here to accept this resolution is External Affairs Director Caitlin Burney from Greater New Orleans Incorporated.
So what we're doing now is formalizing the coalition we built into an official 501c6 entity, and really trying to set up for the 2017 reauthorization of the National Flood Insurance Program. So this organization is going to vet and come to the table ahead of reauthorization with what the reasonable solution looks like for sustainable, affordable flood insurance. And that group will be represented nationally across a broad range of geographies across the country, and various industry stakeholders as well.
The bottom line is, you know, the government needs to stay out of our business and just make sure that as mayors that we're going to come in and take care of our community with some federal funds. In the meantime, don't come back and penalize us. And that's what we want to do. As long as you can go ahead and talk to everybody in the United States and make them understand that it's not only about Louisiana. It's all along from the western coast of Seattle, Washington, all the way to Maine. So again, inside the rivers and also the little canals, we call it in Cajuns, you know, they will make sure that these people are aware, because it's not going to be good if you know, they don't understand that we're trying to do the right thing.
Mayor, tell us, what are some of the big issues facing your city and other cities in Louisiana?
Economic development, community development, and the lack of funding that comes along with it. You know, we struggle, but we're managing.
Jobs, and it seems like that we're doing good now in Arcadia, and it looks better and better all the time. But the city that surrounds me is the one that's hurting right now.
In the last session of the legislature, people are still filing different plans as to what should be done in order to try to address the road problems, because we're at a critical mass right now, especially with the Mississippi River Bridge here, when it ties up all the traffic going in either direction. So when you find out that first you're seeing cuts at the federal level, then at the state level, it's now left up to the local level to try to make a difference in what's going on. Another thing have been the cuts that have come down from the state have been very drastic, and in a lot of those small towns, I'm worried that if we keep bleeding money away from them, you're just going to have a bunch of ghost towns across Louisiana.
Many of the cities right now are facing issues with our retirement costs, and you know, all of the costs of doing business have increased, insurance premiums across the board, and of course premiums for flood insurance have been a real big issue throughout the state. So this has been a great conference. Many of these issues are being addressed.
Right now, our biggest issues, and I think a lot of the other small municipalities, is infrastructure, to upgrade all our infrastructure that's in the municipalities, so far as our streets, water, our natural gas system and everything. That's our biggest issue so far as in our community, plus our parks too. That's one of the most important things, park and recreation. Get all that upgraded, finding funding for those issues to help grow our community.
Well, retirement issues, health care, always a problem as far as with every city. Infrastructure is something that we work on constantly, making sure that financially our system, our city is sound, and that we provide a good quality of life for the citizens here.
On infrastructure, those are always, with aging infrastructure here in our city as well as other cities, that's something that we deal with constantly, and we'll forever probably deal with those kinds of issues. And then, some of the other issues that we deal with, retirement systems, hopefully that's leveling somewhat, but obviously that's been market driven, and many other issues with all of our retirement systems, whether it's police and fire or public safety, or whether it's municipal employees, it's something we have to deal with. So, those are constant issues that we deal with.
Cities are being asked to do more and more with their own dollars, and yet cities lack in general the authority to make some of the decisions to do that. So I bet most mayors would say we wish we had more, because there's just not a lot coming out of Congress in terms of getting along, getting bills out for transportation, other things that need to happen. I think also in Louisiana we face always, and have for a long time, a crisis in education, in having the infrastructure in place. So I was sort of talking about the hard infrastructure a while ago, roads and streets and utility lines, but there's a soft infrastructure that is just as important, if not more, and that's our human infrastructure. Our people, do we have trained and ready workforces for companies that would come and so forth? So I think you see a lot of talk about how 2-year and 4-year institutions work together. Not typically the mayor's job in cities, but certainly something that mayors ought to be very aware of and seek to partner with those stakeholders who are charged with those duties to make sure. And I think Louisiana has had a struggle with that. We're going through a big upheaval in health care and how it's delivered, and a lot of changes in education.
Most cities, towns, and villages are faced with economic development challenges, getting jobs, as well as infrastructure challenges. Most of the infrastructure has been around for a long time, and of course, it's a necessity to do everything that we can to network, to share best practices with other mayors, council members, to see what you can do to assist your own particular city, town, or village.
One of my key jobs in the Senate is to be the lead Republican on the Infrastructure Committee. It's called Environment and Public Works. And so the Public Works part of the committee handles everything infrastructure related. And that's been a particularly good opportunity to partner with all of you and your communities on vital infrastructure. One of the first things we worked on this Congress in that committee on the infrastructure side was water infrastructure, Corps of Engineers projects, and that's very important to Louisiana, both because of hurricane and flood protection, all of that stuff, and in addition, because of dredging, ports, waterways, all of maritime commerce. So very on in this Congress, I got together with the chair of that committee, Barbara Boxer of California, and we vowed that as different as we are politically, and believe me, I'm very different politically than Barbara Boxer of California, that we could and would work together on these sorts of infrastructure issues. So we did go to work, and over the next several months, we put together a strong water infrastructure bill on these sorts of issues, hurricane flood protection and dredging, ports, and maritime commerce.
Well, y'all all recognize Lawrence Welk when you hear him, right? That's not Lawrence Welk. Jerry Lee Lewis. How would you like to be growing up in Faraday, Louisiana in the late 1930s, early 1940s, and have these three first cousins roaming the streets on Saturday night? Jerry Lee Lewis, Mickey Lee Gilly, and Jimmy Lee Swaggart, all sharing the same middle name and sharing the same piano that the Lewis family bought for little Jerry Lee, and he went on to great fame and fortune. How important tourism is to everyone in Louisiana, and particularly the local governments. When you talk about $807 million in state sales tax coming to Louisiana from people who don't live here, and you realize that there's also a lot of local tax being paid by those people as well, it's a huge financial impact on communities small and large across the state. And that's what I wanted to deliver to these folks, and to tell them a little bit about the successes we've enjoyed in the tourism industry.
What kind of success have you seen?
Well, record-breaking success. 2012 was a record-breaking year. 2013 broke the 2012 record. We had 27.3 million people visiting the state, spending $10.8 billion, and leaving behind $807 million in taxes, not paid by the citizens of Louisiana. So that's a profound impact on the state. That's an industry for Louisiana, a job creator.
One, we have a new campaign. It's called Join the Movement for Healthier Air. And so we're asking, or we're looking at educating municipalities about the importance of healthier air in the communities. So one of the things we're focusing on, just highlighting the cities, and there are 6 cities in the state that are smoke-free, and we want to work with the other ones on how to create smoke-free cities in their areas as well. So we want to see Louisiana, which is our vision, 100% tobacco-free living.
We talk about being prepared for hurricane season, but more importantly, almost any type of disaster here in Louisiana. But as we know, hurricanes are our largest disaster that we seem to have quite frequently. So that'll be our message, be prepared.
What is the role of local government when it comes to emergency preparedness?
They're actually the first responders on the ground. So anything that's happening, they'll be responding to that, and then their capabilities, and then they'll contact us through our systems for any support that they need. They're pre-planning that they do and their training that they do, so that they make sure that all the agencies know exactly their role and responsibilities once there's some sort of disaster.
Our topic here today is the community rating system, which is related to the National Flood Insurance Program. And the community rating system, or the CRS as it is known, it basically rewards communities for going above and beyond what is required of them to participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. There are actually communities throughout Louisiana, and today really I'm focusing on communities that belong to Community Rating System user groups, or CRS users groups, which we have 22 of our CRS communities currently belong to a users group.
Louisiana Housing Corporation is an organization created by the state legislature in 2011 for the purpose of administering all of the state level housing programs. Our specific purpose is to help with the development of affordable housing in communities across the state of Louisiana. We do this through rental housing development programs. We also have programs for people who want to become homeowners, and we have programs that are targeted at providing energy assistance for low-income families. Additionally, we have programs targeted at people who are homeless and have a critical housing need and need to get off the streets.
The topic of the seminar today is how to read a governmental financial statement. That document can be quite complicated and involved. I aim to sort of break that complication down and make it understandable. Also, as a part of the presentation, we will talk about some new accounting standards with regard to pensions, public pensions, and how that's going to affect local governments, especially municipalities.
Our message today was to talk about the retirement system, its financial strength, benefit structure, to try to give the people participating today more information about how to get information about the system, where to get correct information, where to get correct forms, and just to enlighten and knowledge them more about the retirement system. We think that the contribution rates hopefully have begun to peak or peaked, and that the unfunded accrued liability, at least for the municipal employee retirement system, is not an onerous one. One of our funds is over 90% funded, the other one's over 97% funded, so it's not a huge part of our contributions.
I'm going to talk about federal aid transportation funds that are available for Louisiana's municipalities and parishes and other local communities to apply for. In general, there's never enough money for infrastructure and transportation projects. DOTD doesn't have enough for the state roads, and there certainly is a shortage at the local system as well. However, there are some funding programs available to help the local entities. I think this year there's approximately $100 million that local agencies can apply for through a variety of different ways. There is the Transportation Alternatives Program, which is now known as TAP. There are some smaller funds in culture and recreation and kind of the scenic byways programs. There's Safe Routes to School program. There is a local road safety program, and then there are the larger programs that you can apply through your MPOs, and those are called the urban systems programs.
We're very excited to talk about some retail trends and best practices for municipalities. Everything's driven by value and convenience. So the dollar stores are really exploding right now. We're seeing a lot of fast food restaurants that are expanding and a lot of good development. You know, unemployment rates are low in Louisiana, so that's really good for the retail trends here.
What does it take for a community to attract a retailer?
Well, it takes density of rooftops and disposable income.
What are the things that Louisiana cities, towns, and villages can do to make themselves more competitive?
Well, they can get out there and they can market themselves. Be sure that the retailers, developers, and real estate industry know who they are and know how to speak that retail language and how to market themselves to the right people.
What can retail mean in terms of sales tax revenue to a community?
Oh, it can be tremendous. You know, an average fast food restaurant can do up to $2 million a year, or even a dollar store. So that's very positive when it comes to the parish and what they'll collect on their sales and use tax, plus the jobs it creates and the property tax. Retail has a very positive economic impact on a community.
Today's seminar is focused on economic development for elected officials. What kind of programs, what kind of knowledge, what kind of activities should they be conducting to make sure that they're maximizing economic development into their small towns and their communities that they represent?
What tips do you have for mayors in order to increase economic development and create jobs in their communities?
Well, it's pretty simple. The number one is that you actually make an assessment of what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you focus on the strengths and you try to correct the weaknesses. And so, communities that have a port or a river or different types of assets, they need to know that. So when they recruit companies to their community, they can show them all the good things that they have available.
What kind of success stories have you seen so far?
Well, we've seen a lot of success stories, and we've seen a lot of the smaller communities able to attract businesses. And even though the big name company might go to a major metropolitan area, there's all the suppliers, there's all the different types of service industries that support that major employer that can locate in and want to locate into the lower cost areas. And so we found that you don't have to get the big deal, you can pick up a lot of small deals.
Today's seminar is about internal controls and best practices in local government. One of the things that we recognized early on when we developed the Local Government Services Division was that we developed a best practices checklist for the local governments, and it's been very helpful in strengthening their internal controls.
What kind of results have you seen so far?
We've seen some improvements in the local government audits and in the number of findings that the auditors are writing on the local governments, and improvement in local government in general.
Our topic today was social media strategy for 2014. For municipalities in Louisiana as a whole, what I'm seeing is that the more we can get constituents and municipalities talking to each other and really engaging in conversation and talking about what's good in their municipalities and in Louisiana, that it's going to raise the social media profile for the entire state. And right now we have the film industry booming. We're the #1 producer of films and TV in the nation right now. We also have oil and gas and construction investment. So between that and other economic development trends that are happening, you have an opportunity to use social media to really put Louisiana on the map in a big way.
Today's topic is public works. How's that working for you or not? And what we're going to discuss is the ins and outs of public works in the municipalities across the state of Louisiana.
What are some of the big issues facing public works departments throughout Louisiana?
Well, what we've seen with APWA is that there's a problem with manpower, getting trained operators for equipment and people that know the ins and outs of the public works profession.
And what are the challenges and what can be done about those?
Well, first off, we have to come up with some kind of way to get our employees properly trained to do their work, and then also see if we can get funding available for them to stay on the job. There's a big challenge between public works facilities getting employees and the construction industry, because they kind of share the same employees in a lot of ways.
LMATS is a wholly owned subsidiary of the LMA. We assist municipalities in a variety of services.
Give us some examples.
Sure, insurance premium tax collection and occupational license, and we just started a new service for delinquent insurance property tax sale. LMA is offering a new program. It's called the Delinquent Property Tax Collection Service. And it is a opportunity for tax collectors to contract with the LMA for the purpose of assisting them with the tax sale of delinquent property tax.
And how will that benefit both the city and its taxpayers?
Sure, we think it'll be a great benefit because it helps to increase collections on debt taxes, delinquent taxes, and it will help the staff improve their process.
With Risk Management Incorporated, we're a wholly owned subsidiary of the Louisiana Municipal Association, and we're the service agents for the interlocal risk pools for liability and workers' comp coverage for municipal government employees and for municipalities.
What type of benefits does this offer to cities, towns, and villages?
Okay, well, of course, we offer work comp benefits for the employees of municipalities, and we also provide general liability, auto liability, police professional liability, and public officials' errors of omission liability for municipal government.
What kind of a cost savings does this offer to the municipalities and to taxpayers?
Well, one thing about RMI, we've been here for 28 years, and we've managed to keep a consistent marketplace. That's the main thing. We're there for the cities. That's all we do business with. We specialize in that, and we think we do a better job than anybody else doing it.
But we're fortunate today that we have 3 of our candidates for our U.S. Senate here with us today.
They want to see us in real life defending our ideas and records, not just be talked to on television or radio. They want solutions to our problems, not carefully crafted talking points. These aren't red states or blue state ideas. After 32 years in the Air Force, soaring over our fruited plains and purple mountains majesty, I see that there are no red states and blue states. Only the United States of America, and our people below, including all of us, just want the best nation possible for our children and grandchildren. Thank you very much. I appreciate the invitation to come speak to you all today. I honor your service and sacrifice for this state, and I'll hang around and be able to answer questions at the end of this. Thank you all very much.
Imagine in a story in 100 years from now. She is going to write, in 2014, the direction of the country was determined by a race in Louisiana. And the country decided either to continue to go in one direction, because Senator Landrieu was reelected, or the country decided to begin to go in a different direction, because you elected Bill Cassidy. Now, if I'm elected, I cannot do it on my own, nor with my wife, who's incredibly talented, but only with your help. And if we do it, the historian will write, the country changed, the result was better, and they will list my name, my wife's name, but they will also list your name, because the future of the country is all of our responsibilities. Thank you very much. Thank you.
18 years of standing in line to wait to become the chair of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee at a time when America is poised for the first time in our history to become energy self-sufficient. We don't need to rely on Saudi Arabia or Venezuela or Russia. Thank God we have our own supplies of oil and gas. I support the Keystone Pipeline, moved it out of my committee. I helped pass the first 2 permits for Sempra and Cheniere, and just Freeport was permitted this week. I am pushing the Secretary of Energy to do that and look forward to leading the nation when it comes to Louisiana being in the forefront and the Gulf Coast, both north and south and central, to be the energy powerhouse that we can be. The Ambassador of Canada has been in my office, the Ambassador of Mexico. We are going to take advantage of this moment to build great jobs for all of our people, close the skills gap, build a middle class. Leadership matters. It's your clout. Let's not give it up. God bless you all.
My message here today is that the people are looking for solutions, and that's why we're doing our One of Us town hall, or Solutions for Us town hall tour around the state. We've done 10, and we've got 40 more town halls to do to continue to carry our message and our positive solutions for Louisiana.
This Senate election is incredibly important in helping to determine the future of our country. Frankly, I think I'm running because I think we have better ideas. Better ideas in healthcare, better ideas in the economy, better ideas in how we relate to Washington, D.C. I'm anticipating those better ideas winning.
The race for the Senate is very important. That's part of my message, and also that leadership matters. And Louisiana has clout in Washington. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the people of Louisiana. We've earned it together, and we should not give it up lightly. And chairing the Energy Committee right at a point in our nation's history which is unique, exciting, and unusual, where we're going to find over 200 years of natural gas. We'll turn our import strategy into an export strategy, creating jobs right here at home. I mean, this is not the time to give up that Energy Committee chairmanship.
To introduce my successor, the Louisiana Municipal Association's president for 2014-2015. With a long professional history in public service, he has served as mayor for the town of Grand Isle for the past 18 years. And 8 years of those years include serving on the LMA Executive Board. Prior to becoming mayor, he served as council member for 9 years. As mayor of Grand Isle for the past 4 consecutive terms, now serving his 5th term, he was elected as District J Vice President for 6 consecutive terms, representing 20 municipalities. In August 2012, he was elected as 2nd Vice President, and 2013, elected 1st Vice President. He has been an active president of Grand Isle Independent Levy Board since 1992. Mayor Carmerdale was also appointed to State Park and Recreation Commission in April 2008. Served as a board member of Louisiana Community Development Authority for 3 years and is actively involved in coastal restoration in the state of Louisiana, showing involvement on the parish, state, and national level. Our new leader is active in our association and will serve on the board of directors for Risk Management Incorporated, Municipal Employees Retirement System, and the Louisiana Municipal Advisory and Technical Service Bureau. Like those who have served before him, he is dedicated to making the LMA and local governments a priority and pledges to work tirelessly with federal, state, and local partners to improve the quality of life for all Louisiana citizens. Delegates, we have chosen an outstanding individual to lead us in the incoming year. There's no doubt in my mind that the LMA would continue to grow and prosper under his inspiring leadership. David, congratulations, and I now pass the torch on to you, our new LMA President. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and warmly receive my friend, the Mayor of Town of Grand Isle and the new President of the Louisiana Municipal Association, the Honorable David Carmerdale.
Have a seat. Welcome, Louisiana! Coming from a small town through so many disasters in the last 2 years, you heard my voice. You look at all these mayors, all these board people. When I stood here, first convention in 1989, I was in the back just trying to listen. But coming from a small town, I said, you know, one day, I would love to be up there to represent all the towns of Louisiana. There's about 305 of us, and I travel all over the state. But going through all the disasters and coming back and making sure that we came back and take care of our communities, let me tell you something. We love you. When a young lady 2 years ago, a councilman from North Louisiana, asked me to get her a seesaw, and I looked at it, and I looked at her, and I'm saying, with all the disasters we went through with the council and the residents of Grand Isle, she's asking for a seesaw to try to get some money to fix a little park for the kids. That touched me. Well, I'm here tonight to tell you, you mayors, you councilmen, and you chief of police, I'm asking you tonight to look at each other. Leave the politics alone. Because as your president, I want to visit with all of y'all to make sure. We got elected by the people to represent the people. And I'm telling you tonight, leave the politics alone, get along with the chiefs, get along with the mayors, and get along with the council, and move forward. Don't hold no projects. Don't make your community suffer. Let's do it together for Louisiana. And you know, it's just simple. It's so simple. We're not here too long. My motto is you pay taxes. 2 things in life, you pay taxes and you die. But you know, we're all elected officials. You heard the senators. You heard them all talk today for lunch. We're the best state in the United States, as far as I'm concerned. And I want to give a special hand to the LMA staff, who does a wonderful job. Let's give a good hand for LMA. Now, the guy that's going to take my place next year, he's from LaRose, 30 years ago, and he married a little Yankee girl from way up north in Spring Hill. And that's Carol Broom. He's quiet, but he's He's a real good guy. And listen, I can't wait no more to work with Carol Bro and Barney Arsenault. Guys, I'm looking forward to work for y'all too, because I tell you what, we're only going to bring it together with this board that you see. Let's give a good hand to these two gentlemen. And I'm going to tell you something. I said it earlier. I don't care if you're from Carroll Crow to West we go. I want you to look at each other, you police chiefs, you councilmen, and I want your mayors to look at each other and shake hands right now in front of me to make sure that we're going to take care of our communities. I got to preach that because we are not going to let ourselves go. Come on, shake hands. Come on, bite the bullet. Let's go. I want to tell you thank you. I'm so excited to represent you, and we'll be traveling the state, and we're going to make sure that we take care of you. God bless you. Thank you.
What you've all been waiting for. Here we begin with the Community Development Awards. Municipalities with population of 3,000 and under. We have 2 honorable mentions. The town of Lockport for the Bayou Side Park restrooms, and the town of Woodworth for the town-wide wayfinding and traffic control signage replacement. So please proceed forward. And now the winner in the town of Port Barre for the John R. Dupre Senior Municipal Library. Municipalities with population of 3,001 to 10,000. Honorable mention, the City of St. Gabriel for the sidewalk enhancement project on Highway 75. And another honorable mention, the City of Covington for the Covington Bicentennial Celebration. And now the winner in this category, the town of Vidalia for the William T. Polk City Park and Concordia Recreation District 3 Complex. And now in the municipalities with populations of 10,001 to 25,000, we have 2 honorable mentions. First, the City of Natchitoches for the past meets present in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame and the Northwest Louisiana History Museum. Second, honorable mention, City of Zachary for the City of Zachary, a mid-sized city study. And now the winner in this category, community development, is the City of DeRidder for the First Street School. And in the final category of community development, we have municipalities with population of 25,001 and over. Honorable mention is the City of New Iberia for the City Park Playground Enhancement Project. And the winner is the City of Baton Rouge for the Mayor's Love Our Community Summer Youth Employment Program. Our next category is a category of economic development. Very important category for our state. Municipalities with population of 3,000 and under. Honorable mention are the Village of Moorville for the Children's Playground and Splash Pad. Another honorable mention, the town of Sterlington for If You Build It, They Will Come. And the winner in this category is the town of Jean Lafitte for the Lafitte Seafood Market and Pavilion. Now, municipalities with 3,001 to 10,000. 2 honorable mention. First, the City of Donaldsonville for the rebranding the City of Donaldsonville logo and website. And the other honorable mention, the City of St. Martinville for the recreating recreation. The winner is City of DeQuincy for the Come Grow with DeQuincy. municipalities with population of 10,001 to 25,000 in economic development. Honorable mention is the City of Baker for the Baker Workforce Development Center. The winner in this category is the City of Hammond for constructing the Hammond Air Traffic Control Tower. And finally, in the category of economic development, for municipalities with a population of over 25,001, we have an honorable mention, the City of Shreveport, for an encore performance, historic preservation, and revitalization of the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium. The winner in this category is the City of Lake Charles for the Southwest Louisiana Entrepreneurial Economic Development Center and the new Lake Charles City Court, City of Lake Charles. Now for our final category, basic services. For municipalities with 3,000 and under, we have two honorable mentions. The town of Pearl River for their new 250,000-gallon water tower and 12-inch line, and the town of Cottonport for the 2013 residential street overlay program. And the winner in this category is the town of Maringouin for the new green technology at Pond Sewer. In municipalities with population of 3,001 to 10,000, we have two honorable mentions. First, the City of Scott, for the City of Scott where clean meets green, and the City of Bunkie for the historic water pump station replacement project. And now the winner in this category, the City of Plaquemine, for the citywide street improvement project. And now with municipalities with a population of 10,001 to 25,000, we have two honorable mentions. The City of Sulphur for the Earth Keepers program and the City of Gretna for the Historic District Design Guidelines book. And the winner is the City of Pineville for the Pinecrest sidewalk and road improvements. From potholes to politics, how difficult one road can be to construct. And finally, with municipalities with a population of 25,001 and over, the winner is the City of Alexandria for the Alexandria Utility Sustainability Project. And now for our final award, this is what we call our Best of Show. For 13 consecutive years, the LMA judges have decided to give this Best of Show award when it applies. This is our Judges Award where we unanimously agree on one project that distinguishes itself in some way or another. Primarily, it encapsulates and reflects the philosophy of the Community Achievement Awards. For the size of the city or the impact it has on the parish and the state, these awards cross all categories and are distinguished in some way. This year, the award goes to a city that has created a location for the community to gather and generate future economic advantages. The community development was an effort of numerous citizens to fund a $15 million project that spanned over almost 70 acres. The facility is expected to bring in 500,000 visitors in the next year, which will add to the needs of more retail businesses and expansions in the future. The end result? Enrichment for the citizens that serve as a continued development of a future community needs and opportunities. And this project is also part of an ongoing plan for renovation and revaluation. The 2013 LMA Community Achievement Award for Best of Show goes to the City of Youngsville for the Youngsville Sport Complex. Congratulations to you, and the Community Achievement Awards Judging Committee thanks all of you. We wish we could have given an award to every person who submitted a proposal because that is not an easy project, I know. Unfortunately, there are only so many projects and categories to win, but all of you are winners. Please give all of these municipalities a great round of applause for their efforts and their achievements in 2013. Thank you, and see you hopefully next year.